The first dream I remember having was me and some friends. We were in a big city, like a big metropolitan city type area, and we're going from building to building. And I think it was kind of a school. I think it was a college. It was like a big college campus type thing, and it had multiple buildings, but some of the buildings were with stores. It was just kind of like random. So it's like a big downtown type area, and there were maybe three big buildings. One was part of a city hall. One was part of like a theater, like a big fancy building. One had a shopping mall in the main floor, like on the ground floor rather. And so I'm with a bunch of people, a bunch of friends, I guess, and but it's like a school too. It's like a campus. I think we're students in this campus of this college and university college, whatever. And we were going from class to class at one point, I think, and then meeting up with each other. But this was like a specific day, I guess, of that this dream is taking place. And so I think I'm meeting up with friends, and we were gonna have dinner or lunch. I guess we were gonna have lunch, almost like a big cafeteria thing. And I think I lose track of two of my friends. So they okay, so two of the friends had already gone to get lunch, and then me and another friend who was with me, we were going to meet up with them. And I think we kind of get lost, or just like we lose track of time, but we also can't find our way because again, it's all big. It's very like fancy looking and stuff. So me and my one friend are walking around. We're trying to find our other two friends who have already started eating lunch in a big cafeteria type place. And my one friend is asking about stores or something. I'm explaining to him that I think he's asking where the store is, and I'm explaining to him that this is like a mall. It's like a giant mall as well. So even though we're in this college, the first floor is a shopping mall, and then the second floor on top is part of the college. And there's different classes. You have to like go from class to class. And I think he was looking for a specific store, or then we'd leave and we'd go shopping basically. So even though we're like in the middle of classes in the middle of college, and between classes or something, we're basically shopping in this giant shopping mall, and it's like very big and fancy. And I can't remember what kind of stores. I remember at one point we go to a store. There's like a fancy chocolate store. I think they're selling different types of snacks, but like one of those premium shops where it's very expensive. Different kind of chocolate treats and like specialty items, uh, like fancy chocolate covered popcorn. They had these little displays, or yeah, like chocolate ornaments type things, and just weird shaped stuff. So it made it expensive. I remember I had a bag too. I have some sort of like a small shopping bag, and I'm trying to walk around and looking for something good. And I think I was going to buy it for somebody else. I think I was thinking of finding something for a friend or family member, or maybe even kids. And I remember grabbing something that looked unique. It was like a weird chocolate thing, something to do with chocolate. And again, at one point my friends were there. At one point they went away, and that's all I remember from that dream, which is really random and weird. And then another dream I had, it felt so realistic. It was so weird, but so I go to Cuba. I'm already in it, so I'm suddenly just the dream starts with me in Cuba with my dad. So me and my dad are in Cuba, and we're in this small town or village, and it's somewhere that he used to go a lot. He used to visit there all the time. And even though it's a small village, it's also one big giant building. So we're walking around this building basically, and it's like streets inside of a building. Basically, it's like a small village, but it also looked like it was actually covered. Like it made no sense. There's like a ceiling or roof the entire time. So he walks into this building, and I'm basically just following. I'm kind of slowly walking behind him. And so obviously in this dream, he's still alive, and he's 85 years old. I remember he's 85 years old in the dream, and we're walking around this small Cuban village, and there's random people around. And obviously the state of like the whole economic situation, everything in Cuba's gone to crap. So he's walking around looking at stuff. I keep asking him random questions like, "Oh, how long has it been since you've been here? Is everything the same? What's changed?" And he's just kind of walking really slowly, and he's looking at everything. And I see people too. There's random people, random Cuban like citizens, and there's this one lady who's sitting on a bench, and she's she's trying to make food, and it's so weird, but I guess because they're so economically messed up right now, there's very little power, there's very little food sources. She's basically making some sort of dish with peanuts. She's cracking open peanuts out of the shell into a giant bowl. So she's cracking peanuts, and then for whatever reason, she has this grater. She has a cheese grater, but she's grating Cheetos, like the snack, the Cheeto snack, and she's making some sort of unique food mix with peanuts and shredded Cheetos, which was very good. And it was a big bag too. It was like a big bag of peanuts and a giant bag of Cheetos. And she just grabs these Cheetos like by the handful and she's grating them on top of the peanuts and mixing them together in a bowl. And I'm just watching this, wondering like, what the hell is she making? And she's just doing it so casually. So we walked past her at one point, and then we and they kind of look at, like, these people are randomly walking and sitting and whatever. Like, these people are randomly looking at me, and I'm talking to my dad, and they don't understand the language either. So it's kind of weird. They're like, I can kind of see they're wondering who we are. And I think like majority of them don't speak English. Some of them do speak English. And at one point, we're walking down this long street slash corridor, and I see some kids in the distance. They're playing soccer. So the kids are playing soccer, and there's live music being played too, like really loud, like joyful music and like happy music. And so as we're walking, in my mind, I kind of think like, oh wow, look at this. This country is basically falling apart. But you know what? The people are still happy. The people are still trying to make the best of it. The kids are playing. The adults are playing music and dancing. They're being as joyful and as happy as they can be. And we continue walking, and I think we even pass a party. Like, there's this big celebration party thing where they're drinking and singing and playing some sort of sports or something. And we walk near the end of this building slash village or whatever. It was, again, it's very weird. It was like a big building. Majority of the time, it just looked like a big building. So we get to the back of this. There's a couple of couches. It's like a big common area or a place for people to just hang out. And there's a pool table, like a brand new pool table with like nice fresh green velvet on it, or whatever the material is that they put, like the cloth. The cloth on the pool table is brand new. And so I remember my dad kind of looks at it and he gets pissed off, like, oh, look, they're wasting money on replacing the cloth of this pool table. Like, why are they spending money on that when they can't, like, even feed themselves or something? And there's a wall with some paintings and decorations and stuff. And I think at this point, I ask him again what he's looking at or if something's different. He's like, oh, yeah, there used to be like an old payphone here, like an old school payphone, and you had to put in money to use it, but they got rid of it. Obviously, they don't use it anymore. And there's some random Cuban guy sitting on a couch nearby, and he's just relaxing, looking at us, doing his own thing. And then we walk back towards the entrance, I guess, of this giant building, or like to the end of the village. And my dad starts stumbling a few times. Like, I ask him if he's dizzy, and he tells me he is dizzy. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh wow, look, he's 85 years old, but he's still able to travel and walk around. And I'm surprised that he's able to do that. And I help him stand up a few times. Like, he's stumbling, and I keep helping him. He does it like 3 times, 4 times, where he stumbles and almost falls. And so I help him he sits down at a chair. I help him sit down, and he's just sitting, and I'm sitting like further from him, from like at a distance, and I'm just observing my surroundings, looking at people and stuff. And then I see him stand up after a short while. It's been like 5-10 minutes or whatever of him resting because he kept getting dizzy. So then he stands up. So then I stand up to follow him. It's almost like I'm just there to like help him and guide him, or like just like keep him company, because he keeps doing his own thing, and I'm just basically following him to make sure he's okay or something like that. And so at this point, I guess it's near the end of the dream too. I remember we're getting ready to leave, or he wants to leave, and there's this young family. It's like this middle-aged woman with 2 daughters there, and he's trying to comfort them or something. It looks like he's trying to comfort them. He takes her hand and kind of taps it gently, like kind of reassuring her, I think, saying like things are gonna be okay. And then he takes one of the daughter's hands and puts it in the mother's hand, basically like trying to. I think it was supposed to be like some sort of symbolic thing about like family. It's very important, like, watch over your family, be together, be loving, be caring, or whatever like that. And so he just does that, and then he says some things to them, and I can't hear it though. I'm at a distance, like I'm like maybe 10, 20 feet away. I'm just kind of watching. And then he leaves them and he comes towards me. And I think we basically start kind of leaving the village. I think I ask him, like, is it time? Are we ready to go? And he just says, yeah, or he nods. He doesn't really say anything. And then we walk out into like the more, I guess, like, it's like I see trees and grass and stuff. It's like the main part of the village or the exit to the village or town or whatever. It just looked weird. But then I think there's a beach too. I think it was like a beach with like water. I remember seeing water, and we basically just started getting ready to leave. And he seems kind of sad and depressed about the whole situation, but he's at the same time he's glad that he was able to come back here. And a couple times I remember asking him like, "How long has it been since you've been here?" And he just says, "Oh, it's been ages. It's been ages." But he's glad that he was back. And I think that's it. That's all I remember from my dreams.